Wait a second. Jesus. Oh, I suck at this already. Wow. Hold on. Damn it. Oh, man. Just a sec. There we go. Let me move that over there. Okay, I think let me move over here, and that's probably going to get it done. How's that sound? Is that better? Hello. Hello. Thank you so much. Welcome. This is a this is gonna suck. All right, so I'm gonna do a installation video, or live installation. The one thing that I haven't done is cleaned up this test machine. It's littered with stuff, including GNOME, which you guys know how much I like. I'm going to go ahead and start from the beginning, which is I'm going to download the 12.8 net ISO. So 12.9, by the way, if you are interested, is coming out on Saturday. So this is a little bit... yeah, sorry. So this is a little bit different. I mean, this is a little bit premature. I could have waited maybe a week and I could have done a 12.9 installation. Not that much difference, as you guys know, for the most part. All right, let me go ahead and download this. All right, complete. And let's go over here and let's go into the downloads. Okay, cool. And if you are interested, if this is something that you are seeing as a video later and not in the live stream, this is how I would use the DD command to install this ISO on a USB. So right here is the USB that I'm going to be installing onto. It had bluefin on it. It's not going to have bluefin on much longer. Sorry, George. So it's going to be sudo dd if equals and then Debian. And then it is going to be OF for output and then dev SDB and then status equals progress and BS equal, let's just say 16M and O flag equals sync. And let's go ahead and authenticate. Okay, and while this is burning the ISO to the USB, I will take a minute to thank all of you for coming. I am looking at 23 people. Wow, that's awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. And I have no idea if this is even working well, but according to the chat, it looks like it's going fine. All right, so I am going to go ahead and actually just reboot this thing. So sudo reboot, and we're going to start all the way from scratch, guys. So this machine, I'm wondering if this is showing everything. Hold on, let me... it looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. All right. So, oops. I probably shouldn't have done that. Should have. Hold on. Let's do that again. Okay. So I'm going to make sure I'm booting into the CD. Oop, which I missed. All right. Let's do that again. Sorry, guys. Restart. So on my keyboard, I'm just going to hit F12. I don't know what it is for you. Oh, there we go. So let's do this. And we're going to go into this UEFI AI mass storage. Okay. Excuse me. And then for those of you who have never seen a video of mine, I always use the advanced option. So we're going to go down there and I'm going to use the expert install. Now, for those of you who have not used the expert install, it's not that expert, frankly. It's just a more incursive install rather than using a lot of graphics. And so I am going to choose the language, which is English, and I am in the United States, so that's going to be good. And then we're going to click enter again. Okay. Don't need to do this. I'm just going to hit continue. I don't need any of the software for blind people, so I'm just going to skip that and go straight to configure the keyboard. And I am just hitting the keys on my keyboard. I mean the arrow keys rather on my keyboard. So I'm going to go to American English, and we are going to detect and mount. So this should only take, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes, because I am going to go ahead and do the full installation using ButterFS. And I know that many of you have seen, well, I don't know about many of you who are in the live chat, but I have, my most popular video by a long shot is installing ButterFS on a clean Debian PC. And I think that was, I don't know, close to a year ago. So this is fine to do a kind of an update. Load installer and components. And I am going to just go ahead and skip this part. Yeah, I know I can use Ventoy. Yeah, I know I could use Ventoy. I guess that's the thing that most people use. I just, I don't know. I only use one key, so there's really no reason to use Ventoy, I guess. Anyway, detect hardware, our network hardware, and let's go ahead and configure it. And I'm just going to use the auto config. Okay. Ooh, HipDad does not care for the Ventoy, but to each his own. Okay, so host name, I'm going to just leave it as JAG 5050, and let's go ahead and continue, and we're going to just go ahead and continue again. So we haven't really done a whole lot yet in terms of making this a very special install. We will get to that in a second. So allow a login as root. And I'm going to say no, so that it does add permissions for user mod. And then I'm just going to say my name. And I'm just going to use a really poor password. And then we're going to configure the clock and say yes. Oh, Matt. Hello, Matt. Thanks, dude. I was curious too, because I didn't know. I see Matt in the chat, and I set him as a moderator, and I've never done that before, so it looks like it's working correctly. That's great. Okay. All right. Detect disks and partition. All right, and I'm just going to go down here to manual. So this is part of it that we need to do, and I'm going to use this NVMe drive. So I am just going to go ahead and select that, and we're going to create an empty partition. So say yes, and then I'm going to go to GPT, and that's it. So now we've got this free space, okay? And I'm going to go ahead and select the free space, and I'm going to create a new partition, all right? So let's just say I want to use a 500 megabyte partition, and we're for boot. So I'm just going to say that's what I'm going to choose. I'm going to say 500M and hit continue, and we're going to put that at the beginning. Okay. Now, I am going to just go down here one to the use as, and I'm going to set that as EFI system partition. And we are done. Okay. Now, we're going to just use the rest of this, and we're going to create a partition, and there you go. I'm not encrypting anything, so just so you know. So if you're looking for encryption, that's not going to be part of this. I don't want to take the time. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Btrfs journaling file system and select that, and we're going to go all the way down, and there you go. So let's go ahead and finish and write the changes. I know that I'm not doing a swap partition. So do I want to return? No, because I am going to be using ZRAM swap instead of a physical swap. So I'm just going to say no, and yes, this is good. Yeah, if you want to do, yeah, I don't do dual booting, Jerry, but you know, if you want to do dual booting, yeah, you're going to need a bigger, need a bigger boot partition. So don't do anything if you are looking to do something in terms of with Btrfs and Timeshift. Do not install the base system yet. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to go to the busy box. So you do that by saying Alt F2, Alt F2, and there you go. We're going to enter, and we're going to, let me just go df-h. Okay, and there are the targets. Now, I don't really, I wish I hadn't done this on NVMe because it's going to take a little bit more time, but let's just say we can figure it out. So the very first thing we're going to do is umount, and we're going to umount target and boot and EFI. Okay. Now, granted, this is not what everybody wants to do with their Thursday night, but this is what we're doing, okay? So let's umount the target. Okay, cool. Now let's LS, all right? And we're going to see that MNT? We're going to mount to the MNT. So we're going to say mount dev SDA. Actually, it's going to be NVMe 0 N1 oops, sorry guys, I think I blanked out for a second. Is this still on? Yeah, it is. Sorry. Okay, sorry. N1 and then P2, and then we're going to say target or MNT, sorry. Okay, good. There you go. So we are going to CD into the MNT, okay, and let's LS. So right there is your @rootfs, okay, @rootfs. So we're going to move @rootfs, and we're just going to move it to okay. So there you go. And now what we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of subvolumes, okay? So the first thing is we're going to create our home subvolume. So Btrfs, and we're going to say subvolume, just use the shortcut SU, create CR, and then @home. Okay, so let's LS again just to make sure. All right, and there's your and your @home. All right, let's go ahead and clear the screen. So now we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to do root, and let's also do log, and let's also do temp, And one more. Let's do opt. Okay. Cool. And so the thing that we want to do now is we want to mount the target, and we're going to create directories. So let's go ahead and say mount -o and no A time and compress equals ZSTD, and the subvol equals at, and dev NVMe. Oh man, I'm not gonna. I shouldn't have done that, right? NVMe. What was that? Oh, I should do it this way. Sorry guys, let me go ahead and clear that, and let me just say df-h again, just so that I have to remember. There we go. NVMe P2. All right. So I'm going to say mount -o no A time compress equals ZSTD subvol equals at, and then dev NVMe, and then N1 P2, and then target. Now, if this is, again, if I'm using this NVMe drive, if you were to be using like SDA, most of you will be using SDA or SDB. Okay, so I'm just going to say target, boom. And now let's go ahead and make some directories. Okay, so we're going to make dir, and then let's go ahead and just use the parent switch. And we're going to say -target boot EFI. All right. And let's go ahead and just up arrow. And we're going to say home. And then we're going to do root. And then let's go ahead and say var log. Make sure this is the one, because if you do, you created this subvolume for log, but it's not going to be, make sure that you're putting in that extra directory var log. Okay. Yeah, I know, Matt. OpenSUSE. And then we're going to go up one more, and we're going to say temp. And the last one is opt. Okay, cool. And so now we're going to, let's go up a few arrows here and to this one. And so we're just going to say target. Well, first of all, we're going to say the volume is home and the target is /home. Okay. So just, there you go. So up arrow again. The subvol is root, and the target will be root. And what else? So let's go up, and it's going to be log and target var log and temp. And one more, guys. OPT. There we go. And opt. Cool. And now let's go ahead and mount dev NVMe 0, and then N1 P1 this time to target boot EFI. Okay, so that's the last thing. There we go. All right. So what do we need to do next is we need to actually go into the FS tab. No, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to stay away from that. All right, so we're going to nano target Etsy FS tab. Okay, there we go. Now, here's the thing we need to do. We're going to have to make sure that all of this is going to be the same. So we are going to just go ahead. Let me go ahead and remove some spaces so that you can see everything. Okay. So the very first thing is this root FS, it got changed to just at. Okay. And so we're at the top, at the beginning here, we're going to say no A time, and then comma, and compress equals ZSTD, and subvol is this at, and so that's all we need. Okay. So what we're going to do though is we're going to cut this. So Control K, and now we're going to paste it out 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So we're going to say first one is home. Let's go ahead and delete that. And then the subvol is going to be home. Okay. And then we are going to root. And subvol is root. And let's say, what else? Var log. And the subvol is log. Temp. I know this is fascinating, right? Temp and opt. Actually, let me go back and delete these. There we go. And opt. All right. So now all the hard work is done. Finally. So Control O, enter, and then Control X. And now all we need to do is go back to the installation. So Alt F3. Oh, sorry, Alt F2. There we go. Oh, Alt F1. Thank you so much for playing. Okay, so I am now at a position now where I can install the base system. All right, so I will do that. All right, now it's just a matter of pointing and clicking. So now that we've created everything that we need to do, we are just finishing up the base installation. And it is kind of slow, honestly. Now I got to take a little time to read some of the chats that I missed. Okay, well, I guess maybe I could have done a snapshots subvol. That would have been smart. Let me think about that one again next time I do this. So I'm curious though, is that a snapper thing or is that a time shift? Is there a difference between those two in setting up a snapshot subvol compared from timeshift to Btrfs? I'm sorry, from timeshift to Snapper. I don't know the answer to that, and I'll go find the answer. So there you go. And let me just go ahead and select install. And I am using generic. Yes, what I thought too, Matt. But I want to verify that because I have been thinking, we talked about this a while back, months ago, that I wanted to do a snapper video for Debian, and I knew that I was going to have to do snapshots as part of that process. So this was a little bit simpler. I think it is at least. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and configure. I am going to use the HTTP. Now, for those of you who are looking at this video after the fact and not part of the live chat, I am probably going to use something that I know is fairly close to me, which is this ATL mirrors. So I'm going to do that and hit continue. Okay. I am going to use non-free software twice, and then I'm not going to enable the source repositories. Yeah. Yeah. Remember, I don't know if you remember this, Matt, but I threw 6 hours of video in the trash can on that video that I was going to do for Snapper. Okay, so I am going to enable backported software. I'm probably not going to use it tonight, but it is something that I may use on this machine later. So select and install software. And here it's going to update for sure because there is a better kernel, which it's doing right now. There is a better kernel right now for 12.8. I think there's going to be an even higher kernel for 12.9, which comes out on Saturday. Hello, friends. Hello in the chat. No automatic updates. Now, this is my choice, okay? But a lot of you might want to just go ahead and install security updates automatically. We talked about that today in the lug, actually, about installing or doing security updates. I'm just going to say no for now, though, okay? Now, installing Debian testing, I'm just going to tell you guys, I see this one comment in the chat. I know most people will skip and go directly to a testing ISO. I'm going to argue and push back against that slightly. I would say that I would start with Debian stable, and then I would change the apt sources list to testing in order to update those packages. It is my experience that you actually have less breakage that way going forward. No, I'm not going to participate. Okay, so here we go. I am not going to put anything on this machine, and I'm going to just put SSH on there for now, okay? I know that's what you guys want to see, me installing GNOME or XFCE. Not going to happen, okay? My PC, my rules. Okay, so I'm going to just hit continue. Is there really, Mark, is there any chance I'm going to be installing Wayland? hell no. No, bro. No. I'm sorry. I am sorry, bro. We'll get to that. We'll get to that soon enough. All right, installing the grub boot. And no. And yes. No other operating systems on here, I can tell you that. And nope. And let's finish. Thank you all for coming. I don't have any idea how many people are here. Is there a way? Oh, 38. There we go. Cool. 38. Thanks so much. I'm not good at this. I can tell you that for a fact. Okay, so continue to reboot. Nice. All right, so here we are. I'm going to go ahead and take the USB stick out and see where we are. Now, granted, you're not going to be able to see very well until I start changing the font in the TTY. So let's get to that. Okay, so I am going to just log in. And now let's say I need to sudo dp kg reconfigure console hyphen setup. And there you go. Okay. And so I'm just going to hit OK. And then OK. And then terminus. And then we're going to go all the way down here to the largest font size we can get. Ooh, look at that. How about that, guys? Big fonts. Big fonts. Okay. So, no, this is a live PC. All right, no virtual machines here, bro. No virtual machines. So, what are we going to do? Okay, let's say we want to sudo apt install git and zram tools. And let's add micro just because. Okay, let's just do that. Yeah, it's challenging sometimes. In fact, I was actually glad that I remembered how to do it. I didn't even. I was tempted to look at my notes just to make sure, but I ended up remembering the console setup. Okay, so let us let's see, sudo micro etc and then default and then zram swap. Okay, so here's where I would set my my ZRAM for compression. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that comment, and then percent. I am going to go ahead and just say 25 here. Okay, and so Control S, Control Q. And so now, by the way, if I just say lsblk, you're going to see all the things that we did in terms of what? Oh, it's right there. I couldn't see. I wish I could highlight right here, but there you see the ZRAM, the swap partition says 256 M or 256 megabytes. It's only until you actually say sudo systemctl restart zram swap.service. And when you do that, and now when you lsblk, you're going to see that the ZRAM, because this is a 64 gig of RAM on this particular machine, your ZRAM swap has now increased from 256 megabytes to 16 gigabytes. Trying to look at the look at the chat simultaneously. Sometimes I can multitask, and then there's times right now. Yeah, so especially, let me just make this comment real quick. It says ChatGPT is suggesting using swap partition with the ZRAM. Okay, so with mechanical drives, I don't think it matters that much in terms of performance. I'm going to go with maybe a physical drive, but when you're using an SSD or something like that, I think that this is a better method and actually saves your SSD drives from reading and writing really fast. At least that's what my understanding is. Okay, so let's go ahead and just clear the screen. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to clone my github.com/drewgriff and then /bookworm scripts, since this is bookworm. Okay, so now when I go to bookworm scripts, you're going to see that there's my install.sh. So I'm going to run this, guys. So is chmod, just making sure. I think it's already executable, but I'm just going to say, okay, so /install.sh. Okay, so what it's doing right now is it's actually bringing in my dot files. Okay, it's actually like cloning my dot files, and it's taking a long time to do it, but we've got time. Okay, so here we go. We've got awesome WM, and do I want to install awesome WM, my customized version? Sure, let's do that. I'm going to go ahead and hit 2. Do I want my BSPM config? Hell yeah. I am going to skip DK. Sorry, Nate. I'm going to do that, and I am going to install DWM. I'm going to skip Fluxbox. Sorry, I'm going to skip ICE, i3 and IceWM. I'm going to go ahead and install my OpenBox. And Qtile, because Matt's here, I will install Qtile as well. And there you go. And we're off. And so it's going out and getting all the files that I need for all of these window managers, as well as stuff that I really like, you know, including Genie and so on. So awesome WM is the best. You know, I'm not even gonna like argue against that. It's really good. It's really good. And I've learned to appreciate it. Am I using it? No, but it's really good. Yes, sir, JR. Yes, sir. Hey, Nate. Yeah, you know what? It was without question. When I did my 2 videos on Awesome WM, I really pushed myself to incorporate a lot of Lewis scripting, and that was challenging. It really was challenging. I mean, even more challenging than writing this bash script that you're seeing on the screen right now, dude. I'm serious. It took me a long time because it took me about a month to write the script that you're looking at. Okay. But it took days just to be able to configure one awesome WM configuration that made sense to me. So yeah, no, I dig it. I dig awesome WM. It's just really stinking hard, at least for noobs, to get the Lua to get Lua um, under a manageable configuration file. Now, what's easy, and I know this is for those of you that are in the chat and are window manager users, I would say I would question whether you think that the easiest one is i3 or BSPWM or something even a little bit older like OpenBox. That would be my question, because in my opinion, I think BSPWM is the easiest and I still think one of the best. That doesn't mean I'm using it every day, but I am using it occasionally. I think that I like the modularity of BSPWM because it's a simple configuration, because you're using something which you don't have to, you don't have to use a bar at all if you don't want to, but using polybar is really simple to do, as well as using, you know, the configuration, the keyboard daemon SXHKD. So I like having BSPWM as my kind of beginner level, even though I don't think it's very I don't think that the features are lacking in BSPWM. My personal opinion. I'm a bigger BSPWM fan than I will ever be of i3. Just saying. And if you're, yeah, I get that, Matt. As far as pre-selection is concerned, I don't know that I think very few people use the pre-selection. I just happen to use BSPWM without doing pre-selection. Yeah, I don't know about Sway WM, by the way, is really stable. And so it would lend itself to even just using it on a Debian Bookworm. And I see that you're using it on Debian Trixie in a virtual box. I actually have no experience with that, but I have done a Sway WM video on stable, and it is stable for whatever, for whatever you are using it for. It's really good. Now, I get the fact that, once I started this this script where it's running everything, it was going to take a while. I still think it's going to be extremely lightweight. When it comes right down to it, I think I'm going to get under 1,500 packages, and I'm going to have all of these window managers to use. But we shall see. Oh, sorry, Fred. Yeah, you know what? That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I said 8:15, or what I say? I said 7:30 was going to be the start of the video or the live stream, and I probably should have said Eastern time. Yeah, fair. That's fair. Live and learn, bro. Live and learn. My top 3 distros: Debian, Debian, Debian. Yeah, mine are Debian stable, then Debian Trixie, and then Debian unstable or experimental. It's funny. Ah, sorry. Yeah, okay. No, we are not. Hey, Josh. No, we are not. We are done with the installation. Oh, well. Yeah, Jerry. By the way, I think MX does a really good job, in my personal opinion, of incorporating tools that are very helpful for a distribution to have. Yeah, I dig it. I'm not using it, but I dig it. We were in the Linux user group, the lug this morning, and after the lug, by the way, we talked a little bit about um, creating a distro, and there's a distro, and many of you may have used in the past. I don't know about many, but I'm sure there's maybe a subset of you that have used in the past that is no longer being developed, or this distro is Arch Labs, and I really liked their installation process. I see where you just said like the MX install is really good. I really liked Arch Labs in that I thought it was really simplistic. It's not using Calamares. It was using some type of incurses installation, and I thought that I enjoyed it. I really thought that was, and then again, I'm also using the expert install for Debian too. But um, just curious if any of you guys have tried that in the past. Okay. There's a bunch of stuff. I think this is the. I'm not sure actually. I was going to say I think this is the packages required for Qtile, but I'm not exactly sure. I think it is, but we'll see. Well, this is DWM. I know that for a fact. Okay, so this is a DWM install. Okay, that's going to be OpenBox. There we go. So many packages to install. Most of them are really tiny, but still. Okay, awesome WM. And finally, I think the last one, I think Qtile might be the last one. So sorry it's taken a bit of time, but I got nothing but. Okay. So it's done everything that it was going to do. I did put this part of my script is just saying, hey, do you want any of these other things? I am just going to go ahead and skip this part. I know that Thunar is already installed, and that's really all I need, so I'm just going to skip that. I'm not sure if Flame Shot is installed, but I'm going to go ahead and say 1 and 2 and 5 because I like QIMGV. And let's go with that. I don't need any other terminals, so I'm going to skip that. Like I said before, Genie is already installed because I'm using my personal configurations for the window managers that I selected, and Genie is part of that installation. So I'm skipping that. I'm going to install MPV and VLC and Audacity. And I'm not going to install OBS Studio while I'm doing this, so I'm just going to say 8 for MKV Toolnix -GUI. And I'm going to install Calculator because that's, and 7 for CPUX, 12, and that should be good. Let's just go with that. Probably could have skipped GIMP, but oh well. This is not really the installation, Josh. This is actually, the installation was done before I got to this point. This is just the script that I wrote to do everything else. So basically what I did was a minimal install, and then am installing everything else after that. So it's almost done, and then we'll be able to reboot, and everything should be ready to rock. Okay, so it's asking me, do I want to install a display manager, whether it be LightDM or the minimal GDM3, and so on. So right now, I just assume use LightDM, but I am tempted to just install the GDM3, but I'm just going to use LightDM. So I'm going with that. Okay, so yes, sir. 4 o'clock a.m. Okay, do I want my bash RC, my personal bash RC? Yes, I would like that. Thank you so much. No, I don't need printing services right now, and this machine has no Bluetooth, so no. Okay, so all that installation is now done. So all I'm going to do is sudo reboot. And we should be good to go with a bunch of shit on this new PC. Oh, I'm gonna say new. It's not a new PC. It's an old PC that I've just reinstalled Debian on. Okay, so looking over here, here's OpenBox, Qtile, Awesome, BSPWM, and DWM. So let's just start from the top and just go down. I'm just going to look at my OpenBox. So here is OpenBox. And just so you know, I made this Tent 2 panel specifically for this version of OpenBox and put this wallpaper in. You can see that there's actually 3 Tent 2 panels running simultaneously. One for the date, one for workspaces, and then this. So that is the application finder. Now notice, it is the XFCE4 application finder that I just happened to use for OpenBox. Okay. So if I just say, Firefox, for example, there's Firefox. And I'm just going to go ahead and skip. Okay. So also you can, I think there are keyboards shortcuts here that I've put in. Now, if you want to see what those shortcuts are, at least in my configuration, I hit Super H. Okay. So notice Super H, and I'm using this Tilix as my terminal. All right. Let me go ahead and just look over here. And you're going to see super right or super left or super up and down and so on. So this is... Oh, sorry. I was like, is there something wrong with the way I'm doing it, Nate? But I guess not. Okay. So anyway, if I say super up, it's going to float 75% centered. If I say super left, it's going to go 50% to the tile to the left and right. And notice it's actually using the PyCom. So it is the specialized PyCon, the FT Labs PyCon version, which is really, really nice and has really smooth animation. Okay. So I put this simple script in. So when you do hit Super H, you can see what the shortcuts are. Okay, Super Space is XFCE4 App Finder. So let me just go ahead and close everything. And then so if I hit Super Space, you're going to see the App Finder, and there you go. Anyway, yeah, I like OpenBox, by the way. And if I was needing a floating or stacking window manager, I would definitely consider OpenBox. It is feature complete, but I get the fact that it has not been touched in probably near a decade. Okay. Near a decade. I am curious about LabWC because it is using, it looks like OpenBox and it's a Wayland compositor. So interesting, right? All right. Genie. So, all right. I don't know if this is something that you guys would want me to spend any time on, my version of Genie, but I will let you guys comment on the chat whether this is something that you are interested in really quickly. Okay. Well, I'll come back to this if that's something. Please don't delete this. I can go back to something in a minute. All right, let me go ahead and let's go ahead and just say Super Shift Q and hit exit. So it's going to go back, and then we're just going to go to the next ones, which is Qtile. So I'm going to go to Qtile and logging into Qtile. So it did all the scripting did all of this, that what you're seeing on the screen. You know, it installed all of these window managers, and it installed the configuration files for that. So if I just hit super enter, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and profiles, edit. And then let's say I'm going to turn off scrolling. And yes, I use Tilix and I really like it. So let's say underline. I'm going to use a custom font and I'm going to say sauce regular. And let's go with this. And let's bump this up to about 16. There you go. And global appearance. And then let's hide the CS toolbar and place this sidebar. Oh, right here. Use tabs. Anyway, that's what I would do. And so now if I just hit this and, oh, I did want to do one more thing. So profiles, edit, and then color. And let's add some transparency. Okay, there's some transparency for you. Okay, so here is my version of Qtile. I'm going to go ahead and show you everything else while I'm here. Let's go, and then I'm going to hit Super Shift Q. And go to Awesome WM. And let's go ahead and log in using a purple theme. Got 12 workspaces on this one. Same thing. Now, here's the interesting thing about Awesome WM. So JR can tell you this. If you hit, typically when you say Super S in Awesome WM, it pops up your that help menu that I showed you. No, let me just back up for a second. When I was on OpenBox and I hit Super H to show my key bindings, okay, Awesome WM already has that built in. And I did change the keybind to Super H. So if you are in Awesome WM, you use Super S, and it will show you your configuration. It actually looks at your configuration file and says, oh, well, there you go. There is something, and it's been changed. So like, for example, Super B would be Firefox. Let me do that again, Super H. And it shows you everything that's in the configuration file and then lists it, which is really, really nice. Okay, it's a really nice thing. That's why I included my own for some of the other window managers, but it's not nearly as good as this because this is actually looking at the configuration file. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and just exit out of that. As far as the configuration file is concerned, you know what I'm going to do while I'm here? I'm going to go to CD and to my .config, okay? And I'm going to git clone github.com/my name and then nvim. Okay, let me go ahead and clear the screen, just so that I have this in case I want it. Okay, and let me just go ahead and remove that git. Okay, and what I'm going to say is install .nvim. Now this nvim Linux 64.deb is something that I created for 0.10.2. Okay, you basically use the git commands and so on and actually make your own Debian file for that. It is, if you ever need it, if you're in Debian or you want to just install the newest version of NeoVim, you're not going to find it in the Debian stable repos. You're only going to find it like somewhere else. And I just happen to have one, and I'll continue to try to keep it as current as possible. So that nvim-linux64.deb is going to provide you with the most current NeoVim. So let me just go ahead and okay. Well, it sometimes that markdown preview does not work, and I can fix that, but I am just going to I'm just going to kind of leave it for now. Okay. So okay. So now if I hit that, there you go. And so this is my NeoVim config, just in case you are looking for one that is very simple and is not really like I don't know. It's not very dev. It would not be for a developer. Let's put it that way. It's more for someone that is more of a hobbyist. So that's what I'm using it for. Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and exit out of Awesome WM. And then let's go to BSPWM. Now this is, yeah, I don't know about this, but whatever. This is a very bright background image. So let me go ahead and show you cd into .config. And because I did mention that I think that BSPWM is really stinking good when it comes to simplicity. So everything that I have as far as configuration is in this directory, including that key binding helper. So if I hit Super H here, this is the BSPWM key bindings that I am using for this specialized configuration that I created and that you can have if you want it as part of my GitHub. Okay. You'll notice that there are really simple configuration, key bindings rather, not a whole lot of there's not a lot to it, frankly. It's just not that impressive, but it does work. So, but I did want to show you V into BSPWMRC. So this is the configuration file. So right here, you're going to see web, dev. This is everything that you see, and these are the names of the workspaces that I'm using. And it could be 1, 2, 3, and so on. But it's up to you. You can put whatever you want there. You are controlling the border and the gap width and so on. And then you can, I like to have the floater at this size in the middle. So if I say, let me say MPV, for example. Okay. It's going to be that size and it's going to be in the middle of the screen. So that's why I set it as a floating application. So let me go ahead and close that. And you can see that it is part right here. So it says MPV state equals floating. Same thing with archiver and QIMGV and so on. So you can set the BSPC rules very easily in one section, and this is not that hard to do. Now, again, BSPWM is not going to be for everybody, but if you have any desire to use a window manager and you're not, if you don't, and you don't want to use, let's say, Wayland, and you want to go back in time, this is one that I would recommend. And there's not a lot to this configuration file. So all of this is the startup stuff, PyCom, Dunst, and so on. So as far as Dunst's concerned, it's like if I just say hi, there's my Dunst. It's just giving me a little bit of, a little feedback. And so what else do I want to do? All right, well, I guess what we could do is go to DWM real quick. It's been over an hour, this stream, and I appreciate all of you that are hanging out. Okay, there's DWM. So, and then if I just go click, 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 you can see that the animations and so on. Hopefully, I don't know if that actually translates very well. Yeah. Actually, I like BSPWM better on for dragging window sizes. Let me actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back and just show you what I'm talking about real quick, okay? This is what I like about BSPWM. Plus, let me go ahead and cd.config, and let's v. Okay, because I want to, I'm going to uncomment this one thing right here. Okay. That way, like if you want a more i3 experience, if I want a more i3 experience, you want things to line up vertically. So you set this rule so that the split is east or to the right of the active window. So let me just go ahead and we're going to right and quit this, and we are going to Super Shift R to restart BSPWM. So it's right there. And what it's going to do is, let me go ahead and close this. So if I just start adding things, it's going to add things to the right. So any new application or window is going to be to the right of the current window. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but it's not going to it's not going to have a typical master and stack type of layout. It's going to be more in terms of vertical layouts, which I kind of like. So if I hit right now, if I hit super equal, it's going to actually resize the windows to a, let's just say 33% of the screen. Each window gets the equal share. And that's a simple thing that you can do in your XXHKD file. So actually, let's go look at that real quick. Okay. So actually, it's in this cd.config sx. Oh no, it's in the BSPWMRs. And let's v into the XXHKDRC. Okay. So if I'm looking all the way down here, I think it's all the way down here. Yeah. What it's doing is when I say super equal, it's actually doing this BSPC query and then redistributing all the open windows to an equal window size. I hope that means, I don't know if that's any interest to anybody, but sorry if it's not. Okay. I'm also using Scrot here, and I might not want to do that anymore, so I might actually be changing some stuff. So let me look at the chat to see if I missed anything. Do you use Rofi? That's the real question. Yes, so super space is Rofi. I don't know if that showed you before that, but anyway. So if I hit flame shot, it's there. There you go. Okay, I am only going to be on for another like 5 or 10 minutes. So I'll try to look at the chat if you guys have any questions for the next 5 or 10 minutes, if I can answer them. That's the other thing. I mean, you're taking a chance if I don't know the answer, and likely don't. But if it's a window manager question, I might have one for you. Okay. So with DWM, all I'm doing is, oh, I wanted to show that other thing, but too late. You can resize just by going super shift, or sorry, super super control right and left to resize windows here. It's not going to automatically resize everything. I mean, it does, but not equally. You know what I'm saying? But there is ways to like change. Yeah, thanks, Matt, for showing up. Appreciate you, bro. In IceWM, how do you disable the automatic wallpaper change when changing IceWM themes? I don't know that you can, actually. Yeah, that's a good question because I don't know that you can do that. Yeah, I had the same issue. So I just kind of left it. Then that's a good question, Fred. I don't think that you can, actually. I'm sure there is a way. I just don't know what that is for sure. Okay, I am cooked. So I appreciate all of you that are watching or have watched. I'm going to say thank you very much. I might try to do a stream where I like add more stuff, but this has been over an hour, and I want to thank you again for for showing up and for your patronage. So anyway, I'll talk to you soon. I'll try to do this again sometime in the next week. That would be a lot of fun for me. Peace.